Among the traditional royal palaces, Maharaja Krishnachandra's palace is one of the most notable. If you visit here even once, you will get a taste of the royal ambience. And another thing, you have surely heard the name of the famous Gopal Bhatt. It was here that he used to entertain Maharaja Krishnachandra at same point in time. This palace is a great heritage site of Krishnanagar. Today I will talk about this royal palace and of course I will also highlight the history of the Jagaddhatri Puja celebrated here. In the early 17th century, this place was significant political center of Bengal. Situated on the banks of the Churni river, this place was called Ray. About 400 years ago, when Bhavananda Majumdar established the royal family in Nadia, this small village suddenly became a place of importance. Later, Maharaja Rudra Roy renamed it Krishnanagar. Though he holds a controversial place in the history of Bengal, it is worth mentioning. In 1757, during the Battle of Polashi, Raja Krishnachandra assisted the British East India Company against Nawab Sirajuddaulah. The Maharaja used to arrive at his royal court in a silver palanquin gifted by Emperor Jahangir, intricately decorated and grand. When Raja Krishnachandra entered his court, he was greeted by the beats of 108 drummers playing traditional drums in his honor. It is said that during the Sandhi Puja, the king used to offer 108 bull sacrifices. This was done to free human souls from evil spirits. This ritual was discontinued in 1987 by the 39th descendant Somesh Chandra Rai. The Durga Puja of the Royal Palace, known as the Angabanga Kalinga Puja, this considered the oldest Durga Puja in undivided India. It was initiated in 1603 by Maharaja Rudra Roy, just 2 years before the death of Emperor Akbar, and it continues to this day. Now let's explore a bit of history behind the Jagaddhatri Puja. According to a popular legend, in 1754, Maharaja Krishnachandra was imprisoned by Nawab Alibuddin Khan for failing to pay taxes. When the Maharaja was eventually released from the Nawab's prison, Durga Puja had already concluded. On his return to Krishnanagar by boat, he realized that it was Vijayadashami, the last day of the festival. Exhausted and melancholic from missing the festival, the king fell asleep on the boat. It is said that in his sleep, the Maharaja had a dream of a red-hued, four-armed maiden goddess who instructed him to worship her Shukla Navami of the month of Kartik. Another version of the story said that in 1764, Mir Kasim imprisoned Krishnachandra and his son Shivchandra in a Munger jail. It is said that Mir Kasim even ordered the execution of Krishnachandra. The Maharaja sent word to the famous Tantric of Meghtala, Kalishankar Mitra, pleading for help and protection of his life. According to Somesh Chandra Rai, a descendant of Maharaja Krishnachandra, it is believed that Krishnachandra had a dream of the same maiden goddess while in prison and she promised his release soon. The dream turned out to be true. He was released shortly afterward. He later shared the dream with Kalishankar Mitra, asking who the goddess was. Kalishankar informed him that the goddess was none other than Chondi herself. In ancient times, the worship of this goddess was already in practice. When Maharaja Krishnachandra learned that, he expressed his desire to organize the worship of the goddess as soon as possible. In response, Kalishankar informed him that the ritual worship of the goddess should be performed on the Shukla Navami in the month of Kartik. Although there was very little time for preparation, Krishnachandra promised to make the all necessary arrangements for the puja. He also requested Kalishankar to take up the role of the chief priest, to which Kalishankar agreed and assured the king of his full support. Thus began the Jagaddhatri Puja of the royal palace. However, unlike the other large-size idols of Krishnanagar, the Jagaddhatri idols in the palace is comparatively smaller. This is because the king's dreams, the goddess had appeared in a form of a young maiden. Hence, the idol is resemble a young girl's, and the form is quite distinct from the more commonly seen in Jagaddhatri idols. The idol is seated straight on a lion rather than in a sidewise pose. The lion resembles a wildfire horse, and in front of the idol a piece of mica hang as a decoration. The ritual of palace's Jagaddhatri Puja are elaborate and worship is performed 3 times a day. The bhog includes khichuri, 9 types of fired items, vegetable, pulao, 3 kinds of fish preparations, chutney, payesh, suji, halwa, sweets and more. And that brings us to a brief overview of Krishnagar's royal palace and the unique Jagaddhatri Puja.